Hello and welcome to the Red Devils Den. This is the third episode of the podcast where we talk all things Manchester United. So obviously we're coming off a very big game yesterday, well, depending on when you're watching this, but um, 0-0, fairly cagey. Ryan, what were your thoughts on it?
I think in terms of the game, it was a good result. I mean, I would have took it before the game. I think performance-wise, we grew into the game. First 30 minutes, I thought we were all over the place, especially the midfield. They were getting in too easily. But I think as the game went on, we were more stable. We getting the ball into midfield, and I think we created the two biggest chances. Was just one of them, really. I think it'd be a great point if we beat Fulham, but I'd take a point all day long at Anfield.
Yeah, would you say we were the better team, Josh?
I wouldn't say we're the better team. I think we had the better chances. Liverpool definitely obviously had more of the ball. Whether they actually threatened us with the ball is a different story. I wouldn't say we were the better team, but I wouldn't say Liverpool were that much the better team either. It was like a chess match almost. It was like you move there, we'll move here. I think going into the game, both teams had clear weaknesses that the media and fans were saying would be targeted, but then weaknesses on the day were actually the strengths, and the strengths turned into the weaknesses because our attack and their attack just weren't playing the game yesterday.
It was a chess match of two halves, though, in a sense. The first half, Liverpool, I thought, were clearly the better team. And then second half, I thought United were clearly the better team. All in all, a draw is a fair result and something I think we would have all taken beforehand. Point at Anfield's never a bad result. It's now 68 matches unbeaten for them there. So while we had an opportunity to win with their injury crisis at centre back, I don't think we can ever be too unhappy with a point there.
No, I think possession-wise, they had about 60-65%, so they dominated the ball, but I think the two chances with Pogba and Bruno were probably the best two chances of the game. So overall, I think I would say it was fairly even. And I think both sides, if they come away winning that, they would have been quite happy. But yeah, we want to move on to some player ratings, I think, because there's not really been any news to talk about. So we want to obviously keep the show for around 40 minutes-ish. So David De Gea, we're going to start with him. I don't think he had too much to do, but what sort of rating would you give him if 5 is average? Any of you go?
I'll go first. I would have given him just a normal 6. What I was trying to judge him on when I was thinking about the rating was I was comparing him to Alisson, because every time the ball went over Liverpool's defence, Alisson was straight out. Obviously, our defence defended a bit deeper, but I don't know. De Gea is not very good with the ball, and it can put us under pressure sometimes. So I'm just going to keep him on a 6.
Yeah, I have to agree with your 6, but I have an issue with what you said about De Gea's distribution. I think that's been one of his strengths the past 3 or 4 matches. He's come on tremendously, passing the ball around, getting it to the fullbacks in the right positions. So I think it's an underrated part of his game now. The last couple of weeks, historically in his time at the club, I would have said De Gea's distribution is a bit dodgy, but the last month or so, he's been great at that.
So what do you think? Like when obviously we're taking a goal kick, and then Lindelof and Maguire are right next to him, and he just kind of rolls it to Maguire. I don't know if that's his decision, but it put us under pressure about 2 or 3 times yesterday. But that's against the best pressing team in the world. So
that's tactically how we play, though. It's the same thing if you look at Arsenal under Unai Emery with Leno and David Luiz. They were doing the same thing. It's just the way Ollie sets his team up. He wants us to build out from the back.
Yeah,
I agree with a 6. I think his short passing to Lindelof and Maguire, that's sometimes a bit dodgy, but I think his long passes to the fullbacks has improved over the last year.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think his distribution has been a lot better recently. If 5 is average, I'd probably give him a 5 because he didn't really have much. Well, no, his distribution was good, to be fair, so I'd probably give him a 6. If you don't have much to do with him, how are you going to get more than a 5 unless your distribution was good? But yeah, moving on to the defence. What about Wan-Bissaka? I thought he was all right.
Yeah, I thought he was solid. A solid 7 from me. Mane didn't trouble him a lot. He won his one-on-one, so yeah, solid 7 for me.
Yeah, I'd say 6 as well, similar to De Gea. I thought he did his job, but he didn't have a lot to do, honestly. The Liverpool attacks seemed to come down Salah's side more than Mane, and then Luke Shaw swept up, so there wasn't a lot for him to do.
Yeah, I went in the middle of that. I went 6.5. He was decent with the ball. But yeah, like he's just said, the attack seemed to come on the other side, and Wan-Bissaka was just solid basically the whole game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Lindelof, Maguire, I thought they had quite a bit to do. We had to defend quite a lot. I'd give them probably both solid 7s, maybe one of them an 8. What do you think?
I went with. Oh, God, sorry.
Go ahead.
I went with both 7s too. I think before the game I was really nervous that Lindelof was starting because I feel like in the City game he just loses his composure sometimes in these big games. But he was really good yesterday, Lindelof, and Maguire again consistent. I think when Maguire lost the ball in that little moment, about 2 minutes later he did a powerful run through the middle and kind of just got that out of his system. So yeah, I think both solid 7s.
I think
I would
when
go higher. I would say I'd give both of them an 8, and the reason for that is, so first of all, I want to agree with what you said about Victor Lindelof. I was a little bit nervous when I saw him in the starting 11. I wanted Bailly to start, but then he proved me wrong with his performance. 100% of his aerial duels won, 83% pass accuracy, 10 clearances, which I think was the highest of any defensive player in a match this season. And he won his tackles. So it was a really great performance from him. And I thought Harry Maguire got in the way a great number of times, won his aerial duels, and I thought both of them pretty much did as well as possible.
Yeah, I'd give Maguire a 7. I thought he did his job, but I'd give Lindelof an 8. I just thought he was a better centre back. He swept up a lot, and I'd had my concerns before the game because I thought he'd not been in. Like he had a little niggle, so I thought he won't be fully fit, but he proved me wrong, and I thought he played really well.
Yeah, I was the same because I was saying beforehand, Bay should start. He complements Maguire better. He's in really good form. But I think Ollie made the right decision because you need composure in the back line when you're playing against a team like Liverpool. And Lindelof's really good at playing out from the back. His partnership with Maguire is, they don't complement each other as well, but I think they know each other's game a little bit better. So yeah, he was solid, but I think Bay will have to play in one of the next 2 games because he deserves to play, considering that.
It'll be interesting to see if Bailly does start in the cup and to see if we defend a bit higher up the pitch because we were so deep yesterday. I wonder if Bailly starts, we do defend a bit higher up the pitch.
I think that makes sense, yeah. So moving on to Shaw, I thought contender for man of the match for me. I'd give him like an 8 probably. What do you think? United Resurgence. I still don't know your real name.
My name's Amir. As far as the rating for Luke Shaw goes, I would give him a 9. I thought it was his best performance for the club, arguably. He created the most chances for us. He was involved in our ball progression, 8 ball recoveries, 100% of his tackles won, 100% long pass accuracy. He was just 4 clearances. He just had a fantastic match down the left. He pocketed Mo Salah. He was involved in the attack. There wasn't much room for improvement for him, and so I would go as high as giving him a 9. He was my man of the match.
Yeah. I think Luke Shaw is, in the past I've been so critical of Luke Shaw as part of one of the problems under Mourinho, in terms of really not liking the United team, the United players. I remember Gary Neville said it at Huddersfield or when we lost to Everton 2 years ago when Ollie had took over permanently. And I think he's symptomatic of how that's changed now and how much I actually really love this United team and love these players. And yeah, I would have given Luke Shaw a 9 too. He was my man of the match completely. Speaking to Liverpool friends today, and they were saying Salah wasn't even dribbling at him in the end because he just wasn't getting anything out of him. And obviously Carragher and Neville and a lot of pundits were saying really good things about him yesterday.
I mean, you think back with Luke Shaw and how far he's come. I remember when he first signed for the club and Van Gaal said he was unfit and he had to train by himself for a month. And then Mourinho came in and had that bizarre post-match press conference where he said it was Luke Shaw's body, but my brain.
My brain, yeah.
All those tough times that he's come through, and now he's really established himself this season, I think, as one of the best left-backs in the Premier League.
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding. I'd give him a 9 too. I think he got up and down. Obviously, had a salary in his pocket, and I feel comfortable with Luke Shaw. With Telles, I don't trust his defensive side, but I don't know, with Luke Shaw, I just feel comfortable. So yeah, 9 for me.
I think Telles and Shaw are really pushing each other as well. I think
Shaw said that in his interview yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Shaw's actually creating a lot of chances too. I saw a little graph today, which was the wing backs in the league, and Digne was out well in front, Trent, Robertson, but Telles and Shaw were next to each other in terms of chances created per 90 minutes. And he's starting to take set pieces too, which is brilliant. So it must be working on that. And I remember when he did the interview after the Spurs game when we lost 6-1, and he spoke. And he was like pushing the club to make signings in different kind of words. And yeah, I think Shaw's really stood up this season, and I'm really happy for him. And I hope he gets back in the England squad.
I was tweeting earlier today, actually, if it wasn't for Bruno Fernandes being a god amongst men, we would be arguably talking about Luke Shaw as a legitimate contender for
I saw that, yeah,
season award in 3 years.
Yeah, I saw that.
If you think about it, he should have had a couple of more assists this season. If you think to the Rashford header in the first couple of minutes against Leicester,
yeah,
things like that. So yeah, I think he's come on brilliantly.
Yesterday with Bruno too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just unfortunate, really.
It's a shame that the agenda still persists, though. That fat Luke Shaw is always out at Nando's. He's lazy. He doesn't attack. People aren't watching the matches. There's a large chunk of the fan base that still thinks that, Ollie's not starting Telles. Let's sack Ollie. Let's Luke Shaw, sell Luke Shaw. It's a real problem. People need to pay attention to the matches and not just agendas on Twitter.
The agendas, yeah. I wish I looked like Luke Shaw. Put it that way.
I think it's that new toy mentality. You've been used to Luke Shaw so long, and then you see Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold getting 15 assists a season, but they don't play the same way that those fullbacks play. They don't get loads of crosses into the box, and that's probably not really their strength either. But yeah, I think we'll move on again to the midfield. Fred and McTominay. I mean, against Liverpool, you need this sort of energy. So I think it was the right decision. I'd probably give them both I'd give McTominay 7, maybe an 8. Fred a 6. What do you think?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go on.
I gave them both a 6.5, and I do feel like I've been a little bit harsh because I think I lost my head a bit in them first 25, 30 minutes. And then I heard Gary Neville say, nobody survives that first 25, 30 minutes. You're going to look bad anyway at Anfield. And I think, obviously, with Bruno, I mean, wasn't sticking on Thiago. So they were outnumbering McTominay and Fred in that midfield. So they had to run around like headless chickens. But I think second half they were very composed. They were playing more to their strengths, and I think, yeah, well, we know how good they can be in these games, but sometimes I do think we just need a bit more composure, because sometimes Fred can lose the ball, McTominay can lose the ball. So maybe a Matic in this game one time. I know he's not necessarily got the legs, but sometimes you need a bit of guile, a bit of quality.
I would give them both a 7. I think one of the things that I notice is people say they don't progress the ball very well, or they lose it under pressure. The thing is, when Ollie plays McTominay and Fred, he's playing them because he wants them to run around, take on the attacker, and basically just scrap and make things difficult for the opponents. He's not playing them to try to play long balls into the opposition's half. That's Bruno Fernandes's job. That's Paul Pogba's job. Matic is underrated as far as his progressive play goes. So if Ollie wanted that, he would be playing those three. The fact that he's playing McTominay and Fred, you have to judge them on the job that he's asked them to do. And for that job, they were great.
I'd give Fred a 5. I thought he wasn't all that, to be honest. It's just his clearances. They're going straight. He hasn't got a right foot, Fred. He hasn't got a right foot. Honestly, his clearances are shocking. But McTominay, I thought he was good. I'd give him a 7. I think he beats the press really well. Like, he gets out of the press. He did it a couple of times, and he did a couple of driving runs in the second half as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought McTominay especially was good. Yeah, but then I think when you look at the defense and then the midfield after that, it sort of goes downhill a bit, because we weren't really getting the ball to them that often. When we were, decision making was maybe a bit off, the passing was a bit off. So what about Bruno Fernandes? Because a lot of people are saying he needs a rest after the last couple of performances. Go on, Josh.
Yeah, I went with a 4. I can't give him less and I can't give him more because he was really poor on the ball. But I can't give him less because he really worked hard as usual. There's starting to be a few agendas now getting thrown out there about him in big games, which is just silly. But about the rest, I'm not sure. Does he look tired? I don't think he does. I think he still gets in them positions. Maybe the mental rest is what he needs. I don't know. I thought he had a few chances to create dangerous opportunities or do one pass, but sometimes he'd do like a weird hike when it didn't need it. But I don't want to be overly critical of him.
I also gave him a 4, and his current situation, the last 3-4 matches, it reminds me of Robin van Persie in the 2012-13 title-winning season. I think it was around February to March time, roughly. He had like 9 games where he didn't score, and the fans started thinking, "Oh, is Van Persie's form coming off? Does he need to be benched? Should we be playing Chicharito or something?" And Sir Alex stuck with him through the drought. And I think that's important. It's Bruno Fernandes is a world-class player. It's one of those things where he's not tired. He just needs to play through it, and eventually the form will return. I would say that I wouldn't use him in the FA Cup this weekend. I think play him at Fulham, rest him against Liverpool, and then again at Sheffield United. That would be the way I would approach it.
Yeah, I'd give him a 4 too. I think he's just one of them players. He's like, he's one of them who takes risks all the time. I mean, that's how he plays. So, although it's quite frustrating, especially in these type of games, to keep the ball, he's just one of them players, and more often than not, it comes off anyway. That killer pass. So, yeah, I wouldn't drop him against Fulham. I'd play him because I think he needs a bit of confidence. But I mean, he's allowed a bad game, isn't he? So
I see opposition fans criticize Bruno Fernandes for taking risks and losing the ball too much, and it boggles my mind, because I remember the days under Louis van Gaal where United would never take risks and lose the ball. I remember even a year ago under Ollie when we had Andreas Pereira and Jesse Lingard playing it safe, turn around, pass it backwards. This is what the team needed, and the fact that he takes this is a positive, not a negative.
I mean, if that free kick
100%.
goes in, everyone will be saying he's world class. So he's just fine margins, isn't it? He can go free sometimes, he can't. So it's one of them.
I think opposition fans are starting to, because De Bruyne is in brilliant form. People are saying, "Oh, never compare them. De Bruyne is brilliant," and he is. And I've never compared them because I think they're completely different players in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, would you like rest him against Fulham, Amir? Because it's going to be difficult for him if he is tired. But I'm not completely sure he is.
That's the thing. I think the priority has to be the league. We're in a legitimate title challenge now. We can't take risk. Fulham have lost 2 matches in the past 2 months in all competitions, if I'm not mistaken. One was to Man City, the other one was Chelsea with 10 men, and arguably, I think with 11 men, they would have won that match. Cavaliero missed a gilt-edged chance. So
Brilliant.
I really think Fulham is not going to be as easy as a lot of fans think they are looking at the league table. And I would play Bruno Fernandes in that match. I would rest him in the FA Cup. That's when I would sit him down. I think he plays every league match and every semi-final and final for the rest of the season. But if it's a FA Cup 4th round or a Europa League round of 32, bench him.
And there's a lot of penalties in these Fulham games.
Yeah, we'll need him for that. I mean, Liverpool is going to be a really difficult game. So
it is, but
I don't know.
One of the things that I noticed in this match was United struggled to find spaces in between that Liverpool defense, and Donny van de Beek's specialty is finding spaces that are left between the fullback and the center back, or between the center back and the defensive midfielder. So I really think this is the Sunday would be the time for Donny van de Beek.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we'll move on again then. So, Rush. Oh, we haven't gone with Pogba yet. So Pogba, because I thought he was quite, fairly positive at times, but I think on the right-hand side, it's not really his position. What do you think, Ryan?
I thought it was decent, to be fair. I didn't think he was going to start on the right when the team news came out. I thought he'd be on the left, but I thought he did a decent job. He held onto the ball well. He was strong. I'd give him a 6, to be honest. I thought he was good.
Yeah, I thought it was I would give him a 7, and I'm not a huge Pogba fan, but I thought he did his job well. It was a surprise that he started on the right, and Ollie kind of gave him a hybrid role where he was playing off the right, but his job was also, when Liverpool had the ball, to come in and support the midfield as a kind of a third midfielder, and Bruno Fernandes would stay a little bit further forward. So I thought he played really well, and he was probably arguably the best player we had inarguably the best player we had in our front four.
Yeah, I mean, like United Resurgence said before about McTominay and Fred, about the job that they're asked to do. I think Pogba was asked to, as he just said, about sit in the midfield or trap Robertson, and I think it's probably the most he's ran. He was up and down the pitch a lot yesterday. He was dangerous sometimes going forward, and he seems happy on the pitch again, which is important if we want to mount this kind of challenge. I was really happy with Pogba, so I gave him a 7.
And he could have been the match winner.
He could have, and that would have been 2 games in a row where he's shown up when Bruno and Rashford haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was good at times, and I think that one chance though, I think missed it. Well, it was straight at the keeper, so you can't really say missed it. But I think not scoring that chance makes me sort of want to put him down to a 6, because I didn't notice him play that many good passes in behind or anything like that. But yeah, Martial, what about him? He always holds the ball up well. He hasn't scored recently, but what do you think, Amir?
I thought he was really poor, actually. I think he played 61 minutes, didn't have a single shot the whole match. There was a couple of good moments where he dribbled around Alexander-Arnold, but he didn't really ever seem to create a lot. He didn't seem to get in the box and provide an option. It was more getting the ball and running at Trent, but even then, you have to have some end product. The left wing in United's system is effectively a second striker. That's how Rashford plays it when he's over there. I thought it was a really bizarre decision from Ole to play Rashford up front and Martial left wing. That surprised me. I think it was United trying to say, okay, we're going to use Rashford's pace through the middle and try to beat the offside trap, which we weren't successful at, obviously. But I think it's one of those things where I thought he had a really poor match. I think he's in poor form in general. He's not had a good season. And for me, at this point, he comes out of our best 11. I would play Cavani up front and then Greenwood and Rashford on the wings when we're playing our best 11.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think
Go on,
he's.
Josh.
I think it's past a bad moment now. He's in terrible form. He's not scoring goals. He's not even. And when he shoots, it seems like he's got any strength in his leg at the moment. I think the Burnley shot that he had where Pope had to save, it was like the hardest I've seen him hit a ball for a long time. I just don't know what is going on with him. There was these theories about, we've signed Cavani, we've signed Ibrahimovic, and we've signed Lukaku. And every time his performances have always dropped, whereas last season he was the main man up front, obviously, with Ighalo in January as his competition. I thought in the first half when we were struggling, he picked the ball up from deep a few times and ran through. But other than that, I was surprised he was starting on the left, especially when Rashford's had Trent's number a few times. I would have started Cavani anyway up front, but yeah, I gave Martial a 5.
When I think back to Anthony Martial at his best coming off the left wing, it's running at his fullback and then cutting inside and then shooting from the edge of the box with his right foot, trying to curl it into the corner. And that was kind of halfway there, and it has been most of this season, where he'll run at the fullback and then he'll just kind of keep the ball, pass it back to Luke Shaw rather than confidently trying it himself. And that's an issue. Like I said, it's the second striker position. We expect goals from him and he's just not been producing.
Yeah, I'd give him a 5 too. I think I have to judge him as in an attacking sense. I thought he was a passenger when we're going forward. I don't think he offered anything at all. So yeah, give him a 5 really.
You were saying then, Amir, about him cutting inside. Do you think left wing is actually his best position or striker?
I think left wing is his best position. I think he's one of those players who they can play at striker. He's a serviceable striker for a top 4 side, but he's not a striker that's going to win you the title. He doesn't have that natural number 9's instinct. The match that kind of sums it up for me is the match where he came back from behind to win 3-2 at Southampton. You look at Edinson Cavani and the way he's getting his head to the ball, the way he's never saying that this attack is dead, now I'm going to have to reset my position. He's always trying to put the ball in the back of the net, always trying to get a leg on it, a head, his knee, whatever. He just wants to put the ball in the back of the net, and Martial doesn't have that instinct. He doesn't stay central as much as he should. He's gotten better at it, don't get me wrong. He's not a bad striker. He can play there, but he shouldn't be the number 1 striker at a club like Manchester United.
Martial, for me, I've always thought of him as like a clinical striker, but I'm just thinking about the chances he's missed this season. The one against PSG, you'd expect him to score. He missed about 3 or 4 against Leeds. These chances you'd expect him to score, but I don't know what's up with him, really.
I haven't got a clue. It's past a bad moment now, and he is becoming a passenger, because when Rashford and Bruno aren't carrying the world, no one's standing up. Only Pogba against Burnley. That's why I think we should start maybe starting Greenwood again with Cavani and Rashford. That would be my front 3 going forward.
I think Martial's getting to the place, honestly, where his place at the club is increasingly coming under threat. And I say that as someone who's a fan of Anthony Martial, and I want him to stay. But Diallo's come in, Palistri's come in. United have paid decent money for these players. I'd imagine we want to work them into the first team sooner rather than later on the wings. The rumor is we still want to go after Jadon Sancho. We're still being linked with Erling Haaland. With all of these players that we've brought in or considering bringing in, Martial's increasingly going to keep sliding down the pecking order unless he can reverse this. And I don't think he would stick around if he was just permanently marooned on the bench. He's not going to want to take that role that Donny van de Beek has right now. He's someone who expects to play at least 50% of the minutes all season long. And I don't think he's going to be in that position in a year or two's time. And he might be itching for a move, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, when he first sort of took over that striker position, well, first of all, when Van Gaal was at the club, he was playing striker, but then sort of got moved off over to the left when Jose Mourinho came in.
I think when Marcus Rashford came through, Van Gaal had moved him to the left. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so he played there for a while, but then sort of got moved out by Rashford and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. But yeah, I mean, since then he's been known as this really clinical striker. But as I think Ryan was saying, this season he just hasn't been putting the chances away. So it's difficult to say he's a striker right now because he still has his overall game, but he's not finishing the chances. So yeah, but I think we'll move it on to Wednesday. I think it is against Fulham.
Just before we move on, really quickly, sorry, we didn't give a player rating to Marcus Rashford.
Oh, I forgot. To be honest with you, but yeah, we'll go back.
Performance.
What do you think, Josh? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rashford. Yesterday he tried to carry the world on his shoulders, and he was running down dark alleys, offside constantly. That comes with him not playing a lot of games as a number 9. He wasn't even looking down the line sometimes. And as Ollie said in the press conference, you don't always need to play that ball over the top, and they constantly were. As soon as he was setting off, his touches were heavy, his legs seemed heavy, and I thought that against Burnley, even though he did the assist, I thought he seemed really, really tired. So Bruno, I don't think seems tired, but I do think Rashford looks tired, and I gave him a 4, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think with the offside thing, I think some of the time it wasn't his fault. I think it was just the timing of the pass.
Yeah,
it was part of that. But I think he just needs to work on his decision making. To be honest, I think like his finishing and all that has improved, but he's just like making the pass at the right time or doing.
I think it was the second goal against Leipzig in the 5-0 win, where it was Bruno Fernandes played the ball. Rashford was in our own half, so he was onside. I think we kept trying to score that goal just constantly yesterday. And that was down to the tactics. So I don't blame Marcus Rashford for the number of offsides calls that we had. It's just one of those things where the entire attack around him wasn't really functioning. And he tried to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, as Josh said. The big moment, though, that I think summed up his match for me was when he was running through, and then we had, I think it was Cavani might have been on the left, or someone was an option on the left, and he decided to run to the right into a blind alley rather than play the ball through, and that summed up his match.
Yeah, I would agree. He was pretty poor. Yeah, would you? And he's similar to Bruno. Ryan, would you say he needs a rest as well?
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, but then again, I think Martial and Rashford are in a poor vein of form, so one of them needs to play against Fulham, but I'm undecided to which one yet, because I think Rashford needs a rest, but Martial's in terrible form, so I'm undecided yet on that one.
The thing is with Rashford is, even if he is in poor form, he still comes up with a goal or an assist. Do we start Greenwood? Do we start? I don't know.
I think Cavani and Greenwood have to play, but I'm not sure on Martial and Rashford. Either one of them I'm not sure on yet.
I would give Rashford the full week off and play him next Sunday against Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm going the opposite way. I would play Rashford in midweek against Fulham and then give them the day off against Liverpool. I just really don't think the FA Cup needs to be a big priority for us when we're in the middle of a title challenge.
I think it does because it's so tight, 2 results, and we need to win a trophy this season. So I don't think we have the luxury now of deciding, or we'll play a weaker squad.
But equally, flip that around, it's so tight, so you don't want to rest your best players in the league.
Yeah.
I think we have the
Can go
quality
either
to
way.
beat Fulham. We should have more than enough to beat Fulham.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. We've got Rashford, Martial. These are quality players, man. We have a squad now, so we should have enough quality to beat Fulham. Whoever plays.
And Liverpool are going to rotate next Sunday anyway. Liverpool will rotate. They will not play a super strong team.
Oh, it's a cup. It's going to be Klopp playing the under-15 team.
Fingers crossed.
So yeah, we've moved it on to Fulham. I think we might as well go through like an 11 for that as well. So obviously De Gea in goals, not really much debate about that. Although maybe, I think Henderson will probably get a chance against Fulham. So against Liverpool in the cup. So defense, would you start B, Josh?
Against Fulham, tight pitch. Yeah, I probably would start by E, to be fair. If he's going to give Lindelof another week, I saw post-match he went up to Lindelof to see how his back was, as he does after every game. So yeah, I would start by E, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's a really straightforward decision for Ollie as far as the back four is concerned. I think you definitely play Wan-Bissaka. Williams is injured, doesn't really have much of a choice. I think you go with Bailly again, save Lindelof for the weekend. Harry Maguire starts for me, and at left back, I think you have to play Telles. The issue is I think this is the last match that if Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, or Bruno Fernandes see yellow, they're suspended for a match. But after this, the threshold increases to 10 yellow cards. So this is the match that some people are saying you have to rest the 3 of them. I don't think we can rest Bruno. I don't think we can rest Maguire. I do think we can swap Shaw for Telles for this one match.
Even if they do get a yellow, they're only out of the cup game anyway. It's because it's domestic, so it'll be the FA Cup. And we want to if people want to rest Bruno anyway. I'm surprised no one got booked yesterday, to be fair. Did anyone get booked?
I don't think they did, no. I can't remember, to be honest.
Not even Fred made a bad tackle yesterday.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a couple of dodgy moments, though. There was that one where Wan-Bissaka attempted a slide tackle. He pulled out at the last second on Sadio Mane. It was close to the penalty box. It was really, really reckless. So there's a couple of ones like that, but nothing connected, thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like yellow cards in Liverpool versus Manchester United games, that's surely got to be the first time that there's not been a single yellow.
Actually, just Rashford got one right at the end, didn't he? For that tackle, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think he
can't
did.
remember.
I think so.
Yeah, you're probably
right. Rashford, Fabinho, and Shaqiri. Don't remember the Shaqiri one.
That was on Luke Shaw, I think, for the free kick. It must have been.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, was that when Bruno nearly scored?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Where were we?
Defense,
just in the back four.
Yeah, so I would play Matic and Pogba because, I mean, usually you play McTominay and Fred against really tough teams, but then Matic and Pogba are a little bit better on the ball, so they don't have as much energy. So yeah, I would go with them. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I agree. I'd play Matic and Pogba, but then I'd play Bruno and Donny as well with that one. I think Bruno and Donny. I'd play Cavani and
Diamond.
Yeah, Diamond. I think Donny deserved to start. I mean, it's Fulham, so I'd give him a run out. I'd also give him a run out at Liverpool as well.
Yeah.
I think.
I like that. Maybe the Diamond. I mean, they play 5 at the back, and I wonder if they're going to change because Robinson is suspended, and he's one of their key players. And Dakova Reed is suspended also, and he's a very good player.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they'll change the system.
Yeah, I would agree with Pogba and Matic in midfield. I would personally start Bruno Fernandes here, like I said earlier. I would keep Van de Beek for the weekend. I'd play Greenwood and Rashford on the wings. Cavani up front.
Cavani. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
That would. I don't see that team losing this game. And then McTominay, Fred, Shaw, Lindelof is fresh for the weekend, and Martial
Personally,
maybe.
I'd play Lindelof for this game, and I'd play Bailly for Liverpool. I think because we're at home on Sunday, I think we just should push up a bit high and play Maguire and Bailly.
I can see that too, because Fulham's such a tight pitch, and I remember we beat them in Ollie's little when he first took over, and we went on that 11-game run. We beat them at Craven Cottage, I think it was 3-0, and Lindelof was brilliant that day. I think he played Martial through the lines a few times, and Martial had a great game too. I think he'll start Martial though. I can't see him dropping Martial.
I mean, if he does drop Martial, and he'll play in the cup anyway, so it's not going to be a big scandal or anything like that.
But no.
Personally, I think there's a very clear pattern that's come through. It's McFred against the big teams, and then Pogba and Matic in midfield against the smaller sides. Similarly, I think we see Cavani more often than not now against the lesser opposition. So I really think it'll be Cavani up front this week.
Yeah, fair enough. So what do you think about playing a diamond? Because I mean, Van de Beek and Pogba, and Bruno Fernandes, I agree with Ryan that they all need to start. Although maybe you could play Van de Beek on the left wing, maybe. What do you think, Amir?
I think that's a serviceable option. The thing that gives me pause is the idea of us changing our formation against Fulham at the way, right? So Fulham at Craven Cottage, just changing our formation for them. It seems a little unnecessary. We need to get used to one way of playing. I think Ollie's preferred formation is the 4-2-3-1. So I would stick with that in most matches. And so personally, I would stay away from the diamond, but I think it would certainly be good enough to win the match.
Dan James not get a start? No?
Maybe on Sunday as a defensive winger.
I think about that, yeah. I mean, Ollie said, I think about a year ago, he's the best defensive winger in the world. So,
yeah.
I mean, and when you're running into space against Liverpool, could work.
I mean, the big games he won last season, I think Dan James played in all of them, right? I think.
Yeah.
City away, Chelsea away.
I feel like we've not won a big game for a long time.
Yeah, me too.
The last one I think was before lockdown, the win against Man City at home.
City, and then do you call PSG and Leipzig big games? I suppose you do, but I just feel like we haven't won. We need to start winning against these big 6 teams in the next half of the season.
My hope is last season we were saying we keep winning in big games. We need to start winning against the smaller sides.
Yeah.
So hopefully in the next 6 months to a year we can start to put that together.
Happy.
Yeah.
Thing is, all the big games are they're all away from home now. I think the second part of the season, but I feel more confident.
From Liverpool,
that could be an advantage. Yeah.
Actually, on that, we haven't mentioned this yet, but it's when we go against Fulham, it's going to be a year since United have lost domestically away from home in the Premier League and both cups and any away venue. So that's tremendous progress, because I remember the early days under Ollie when. After the initial run of form, we couldn't win an away game for 6 months.
Oh, we couldn't. Yeah.
Now we haven't lost one in a year.
And I saw a stat that we were the first team since October 2018 to keep a clean sheet at Anfield.
Wow.
Wow.
That was the third time. This is the first time Liverpool have gone 3 matches without scoring since March 2005. I think.
2005.
Everyone says that they've got defensive problems, but I think their tackles have been poor this season.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
people figured out there's just a bunch of cross merchants, basically.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree there. They are the best team in the world.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm obviously being a little bit facetious when I say they're cross
Yeah.
merchants, but I wouldn't say they're the best team in the world by any stretch.
You don't think so?
Not now, not anymore, not since Van Dijk's been injured. I agree they were the best team in the world up until last season finished. This season, I don't think they've been the best team in the world. I think City are the best team in the Premier League this season. And then you could make an argument about Atletico Madrid or a couple of other sides actually.
Let's go, yeah. Well, I think Manchester United are top of the Premier League, so wouldn't that make them the best team in the Premier League?
I could live with that, yeah.
I think
Um,
we've
just-
said a couple of times, though, we've been squeaking out results more so than ripping teams apart. So I think on patterns of play, City have still been better than us this season. Unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, well, they've got the best coach in the world, haven't they?
So bringing it back to sort of, because you were talking about like, sort of grinding up results against like the big six teams, because I think it's been like the last 5 games we've played have been 0-0 apart from one game, which means we haven't scored against the big six in like 5 games. Would you say that's a problem, Josh?
Yeah, I was looking at them stats before, and people were saying we've conceded 7. I just kind of wiped the Spurs game out of memory because I just feel like we just weren't even a football team at that point. And Martial got sent off that day. Is the record a problem? I would say yes if I didn't know what we were like last year. So I know we need to find a balance in between last year's performances against the big teams, and I'm not including Arsenal in that. And we need to just find a balance because we've got it in the so-called smaller games, which we just didn't have last season. And once we find that balance, which I think we will, we should be okay. We drew against City 0-0, and it kind of it gave us a platform to build on in the next games, which we did, and hopefully last night's result will give us another platform to go on a little run. We're just going to keep going on little runs now until the end of the season.
Yeah, what do you think, Ryan? Do you think it's a problem, or because we're finding it difficult to score against them, against the big six?
I just think sometimes it's about fine margins. If Pogba scores yesterday, we win 1-0. If we had a few chances against City, we take them, we win the game, I think. So yeah, it is a bit of a problem, but I've got full confidence in the team.
Rashford against Chelsea.
Exactly, yeah. So I've got full confidence in Ollie and the team to make it right.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that'll develop as the season goes on. As we go into next season, we'll steadily strike that balance. It's not something that overly concerns me, but it does need to get fixed sooner rather than later. A bit of breaking news for you guys, though. The United under-23s team came out, and Amad Diallo is not on the bench. He's not in the starting 11. And that, I think it's big because Ollie mentioned when he first came in that he would be evaluating him and seeing if he wanted to play in the under-23s with the first team. I think there's a chance we see him on the bench on Wednesday now.
Very interesting.
I would agree.
Because I was looking at the bench yesterday, I was thinking, okay, we bring Greenwood on, and Cavani. I feel like we are missing a little bit of an unknown entity like Diallo, and yeah, that is interesting news actually.
I think for a while we've needed wingers, because we've had wingers that are goal scorers, but they don't really create many chances. I mean, Rashford has had his fair share of assists, but he's not really someone whose passing is really crisp. That's why I wanted Sancho, because he creates a lot of chances. He's really crisp on the ball. And Greenwood is more of a goal scorer, and even this season he hasn't really been scoring goals. But I think Diallo is one of those who can hold the weights, who can dribble, create chances, and he can score goals as well. Do you think Josh, he could make an impact when he comes in straight away, or?
I hope so. I've only saw bits of him. I read a little report that United Arena, I think, wrote about him, and that was amazing. And a lot of people have been complimentary, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. And he's impressed me. I think he tweeted, he put on his Instagram story about Ronaldo and Sir Alex Ferguson, which was really nice. I'm excited to see what he's capable of. Fabrizio Romano is really complimentary of him. He thinks he's the best talent to come out of Italy. So I'm really excited to see what he is capable of.
I watched his 20-minute cameo in the Champions League for Atalanta against Midtjylland, and he was fantastic. In that particular match, he played on the left wing, but he's more he favors the right. But in that match, he played on the left, and I think he created 2-3 chances. He had 2 or 3 shots himself, and honestly, if he had put a little bit more power on it, he could have scored a brace.
Yeah, someone said he should have scored. Yeah.
So, Ryan, what do you think? Do you think Diallo could make an impact? Or
Yeah, I'm very excited to see him. I've already seen him on YouTube, like most fans, but yeah, I think we need that type of player who can run at players and make something out of nothing. That type of player. So yeah, I'm excited. I don't know. Ollie said he's going to start. He might make his debut, but I don't know where that will come. When that will come? To be honest,
Wednesday night.
I don't think.
potentially. I mean, he could start against Liverpool and do a Martial, maybe. People were saying that about yesterday, but there was never any chance he was going to come on. But yeah, I think we've pretty much gone through everything. Are we missing anything? Or
predictions for Fulham?
I would say 3-1.
Josh?
I'm going to go 3-0 Man United.
Rehan?
I think it'll be tight. I think Fulham are a good team. They can pass the ball. They attack well. So I think it'll be 2-1 United.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-1 as well. I think it's going to be a closer match than most people think. I'll say probably Cavani to score a brace.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Okay, fair enough. So thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully some of you made it to the end, and we'll see you soon.
And if you've made it this far, please like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Twitter as well. Thank you.